middle to Murillo, who goes all the way back to Ortega. It's a new position for Omari Hutchinson. When he was at Ipswich in the Premier League a couple of years ago, it seemed to be a bit more of a focus on playing attacking football, whereas Hutchinson now playing more of a right wing back role as a firework makes its way onto the pitch inside of the area. It's gone all the way back now to Cunha, who's beside the flare, and the referee has pulled a halt to the game just 40 seconds in to remove the situation and the danger on the field. And Nottingham Forest will be able to continue the ball just inside of their own area as Looker immediately makes his way over to his new manager to receive any sort of feedback and instruction for the tactic and approach after the early stage of what Fenerbahce have done defensively. They've set themselves up with a very attacking intent, and we'll see how that plays out for them. Perhaps the first 20 minutes or so, depending on how much they may need to change things around. Just waiting for the danger to be removed from the field as the flare has made its way onto the pitch. Just to let you know, in the early game earlier on, Stuttgart lost by a goal to nil against Celtic, which meant Celtic won on the night, but on aggregate Celtic did lose 4-2 and are therefore eliminated from the competition. Red Star against Lille has gone into extra time. We're at half time in extra time with Panathinaikos and Plen both level at 1 apiece, and Panathinaikos have been reduced down to 10 men. The other game to tell you about now is we've got Genk against Dynamo Zagreb, we've got Celta Vigo against PAOK, and we've got Bologna against Bran. I'll let you know of any goals in those games, of course, with the potential of any of these sides facing them in the next round, as we have had the flare removed from the field. It's still pitch side at the moment, and the referee's got the ball in his hand and he's taking it over towards Ortega, and perhaps we'll just drop the ball for the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper to allow things to continue. But I think it was led by Yuksek, who removed the danger from the field before the stewards have come across and made sure it is safe. It is right beside the playing field still, and the smoke is venturing onto the pitch as Ortega gets the ball inside of his area. He fakes the roll out to his right hand side for Cunha, and we are now able to continue with the game. He drops it back on the edge of the 6-yard box, passes this out to his left hand side for Morato, over one more to Murillo by the touchline, plays it down the line, tries to chase it and catch up to the ball and does so, but loses out on possession down that left hand side to N'Golo Kante. Of course, Nottingham Forest fans will be very aware of his success during his time with both Leicester and with Chelsea in the Premier League. Out to the right hand side now with Dominguez, plays it back through the middle for Cunha, finds a gap further upfield now for Elliot Anderson, out to his left hand side for Murillo, drives this pass through the middle, but it's well read by Kante, out to his right hand side by Aidin, and then all the way back to his goalkeeper. It'll be the first touch for Settin, whose first touch takes it up into Nottingham Forest half, headed away comfortably by Morato, brought down by Yates just outside of the centre circle to his right hand side. Challenge goes in from Hutchinson, he wins it, and the linesman says he kept it in play, and he continues down that right hand side. It takes a touch off the defender this time, and about 10 yards gained down that right hand side before it goes out of play for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. Now equal with the edge of the area, and across comes Nico Williams to take this from quite deep into Fenerbahce's half. Williams now gets the ball immediately back by Elliot Anderson, and now Dominguez down the line tries to be smart with the ball, and the ball has gone out of play for a throw-in this time for Fenerbahce. Going back to the edge of the area for Demir. Clearance goes upfield, headed away by Cunha, brought down by Anderson, out to the right hand side now for Williams, who switched over from the left hand side, plays it down the line for Omari Hutchinson. It's going to roll out of play, and it'll be another throw-in for Fenerbahce. It'll be Brown to take. We'll have his work cut out for him down that left hand side. Have to throw it back to Demir by the corner flag. Up towards Brown, first time clearance, gets tripped, wants a free kick. It's a throw in instead to Nottingham Forest. There's a tackle by Yates, and the throw-in's taken by Williams, throws it all the way back into his own half for Cunha. Now to the left hand side for Anderson, into the opposition half, out to Hutchinson, back to Murillo. This time ball over the top. Hutchinson can't read that quite as well as Guendouzi did as he heads this away, and it's with Kante. Pass inside now for Aidin. Now Nene. Out to the right-hand side for Mulder. Mulder down the right-hand side, tries to feed the ball through, but it's well read by Murillo, who wins it back for Forest, plays it back to Morato, goes all the way back to Ortega. On the edge of his own area, will let the ball roll into his area, and as he's closed down, get the ball out from under feet, up towards Amari Hutchinson, headed away, brought down on the right-hand side now by Nene. Nene dribbles this inside, but he's got nowhere to go, and he's forced to play the ball all the way back to Settin, now to Guendouzi, just outside of the area. To his right-hand side, he has got support. He bypasses the support of Mulder, but finds Aiden. Aiden's first touch passes this inside. He's still being followed there, and it's well hounded by Ryan Yates, who I think is going to need to leave the field because it looks like a very serious injury to his finger. Looks like his finger is it's not facing the right way at the moment after going into that challenge with Ogres. It was a good battle between the two of them. I think he's just landed funny as he's gone down. And he has, and it's caught his finger, and he's immediately called for the physio to come onto the field to sort it out for him because it looks like he may have dislocated it. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. Imagine if there's any safety concerns, they'll take him off. But he will definitely need to leave the field for some physio attention. It's whether he returns back into the game or not, but there doesn't seem to be too much of a concern from the Nottingham Forest bench at the moment. Yates prepares to leave the field, and Nottingham Forest will have a free kick from just inside of their own half. Zelt's back to his feet. It has been taped up. And we'll just get a couple of checks over on Ryan Yates on the sideline, and as we do that, it's Fenerbahce, that will get things back underway for us, and it's with Guendouzi. Out to his left-hand side now for Brown. Back to Demir, inside of Fenerbahce's half, down to Brown. Brown brings this inside. Through the middle it goes, but it's collected by Morato, plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's with Ortega. Ortega's clearance away up towards the halfway line, cleared back into the opposition half by Demir. It's come straight back to him, and this time he goes back to Settin. Out to Guendouzi. On the edge of the area, Elliot Anderson will close him down as he plays it back to Settin, out to his left-hand side for Demir. First time clearance out to Brown. Nottingham Forest with a very high press at the moment, forces Brown into an error, but a free kick's given in Fenerbahce's favour by the referee. No hesitation there as Yates has rejoined the game. Appears that he'll be absolutely fine to continue. Now it's with Guendouzi on the edge of the area. Out to his right-hand side, finds plenty of space here for Nene as he goes into Nottingham Forest half, but as he's dribbled it inside, Anderson wins it back. Now out to Yates, he's got Hutchinson further down the left-hand side, and a chance for a break here for Nottingham Forest. First time ball across the middle, it's just ahead of Luca, who's going to try and keep this in play on the right-hand side, and does. Still Nottingham Forest in the ascendancy for now, plays it back to Dominguez, and now McAtee on the edge of the area, brings it back inside. It seems more like a change in formation already for Nottingham Forest as Murillo's playing on the left-hand side of a back four with Williams on the right-hand side and Morato and Cunha as the two centre-backs. As the pass goes to Murillo this time, his first touch is too heavy and it's won back by Sheriff down the left-hand side. Goes into his own half for Mulder, who's got plenty of time. Now to Kante. Now Yuksek. And now Guendouzi. Now Yuksek out to his left-hand side for back to Cogley. Chip ball over the top, headed away first time by Yates. Back to Cogley. Loses out on possession though to Williams, who plays it back to Morato. He's to hook this ball away, but it's miscontrolled by Kante and it finds its intended target. Kante does win it back though for Fenerbahce, albeit inside of their own half, but it's still possession now with Demir. Into the middle for Yuksek. Now Guendouzi inside of the centre circle, takes it into Nottingham Forest half. Out to his left-hand side, some space here for Brown. Down the left-hand side for Cogley. Beats his man, tries to get past another, but this time he just runs straight into the challenge of Williams, and Nottingham Forest win it back, and it's now with Anderson. Out to his right-hand side for McAtee. Tackle made by Brown, and it's going to be a throw-in now on the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest, but it just slows down the build that Fenerbahce were pushing forward, starting to get the ball a little bit more inside of Forest half. Having to be patient with trying to find the breakthrough though. Now back to Guendouzi. All the way back to Setting, outside of his 6-yard box. Targets towards Sheriff, but it's a header won by Morato. Goes all the way through to Luca. Luca lays this ball off for Anderson, tries to get it back through to Luca, and Guendouzi, who's gone down under a push, wants a free kick. Referee's allowed play to continue as it's gone all the way through to his goalkeeper, but Nottingham Forest starting to get the ball a bit more. It's sloppy from both sides at the moment in the opening 11 minutes of the game. Setting rolls this out to his right hand side for Demir. Fenerbahce goalkeeper gets it back immediately, now to Guendouzi, and now Kante back to his goalkeeper on the edge of the 6-yard box. A very poor, very weak clearance, invited the pressure from Hutchinson. He does get it back though and gets the ball away this time, only as far as Brown, who can't control the ball. Balls to Williams, out to his right hand side for Dominguez, now for McAtee. We'll bring this across the middle now for Anderson on the edge of the area, out to his left hand side for Hutchinson. Hutchinson's in the area, a couple of step overs up against Nene. Can't get his cross in, it's fallen back to Anderson by the touchline. Dribbles it down the line, plays it across the middle. There's nobody there gambling inside the 6-yard box to take it for Nottingham Forest. It's well worked by Elliot Anderson, and it really needed somebody just inside that 6-yard box gambling. And nobody was there for the hosts. Fenerbahce will clear the lines. Forest will have to try and work their way back in again. Anderson inside to Yates. Plus one more for Morato. Now out to Anderson. Further over to McAtee by the touchline. He's up against Brown. Dribbles this into the area on his left foot. Cross goes in towards Luca. Heads this goalwards, but it's a tame effort caught by Setting inside the 6-yard box. Now Lucas stayed down, holding on to his shoulder. He looks to be in a bit of discomfort. He went up for the header with both centre-backs from Fenerbahce. Definitely an onside position. Just looks like he may have landed quite awkwardly on his shoulder. He's gone down. Ball went comfortably into the arms of the goalkeeper. He's back up to his feet without the physio, but looked to be in a bit of discomfort when he initially went down. From the back it goes to Guendouzi. To his left now for Brown. Brown back inside to his goalkeeper outside of the 6-yard box. Then upfield, headed down by Cunha this time. Header won by Brown. Out to his right hand side, but there's nobody there, and it's run back by Murillo, who wins his side of throw-in as it's chased over by Nene. Just in front of the technical area, Nottingham Forest will have a throw-in on the left-hand side, inside of their own half. He's searching down the line for some sort of support. Instead has to go short to Elliot Anderson. Across the middle it goes. Gets away from his marker in the end as Yates, but he's tripped in the process, and it'll be another free kick to Nottingham Forest. Across comes Yates to take it, but in the end he's going to leave it for Morato. To his left hand side, Murillo playing as left back at the moment. Through the middle it looks like Anderson and Yates will play as the two holding midfielders in a 4-2-3-1. Over the top out left now to Hutchinson. He was this back inside onto his left foot, ball back across the middle, but there's nobody there again for Nottingham Forest. They're doing absolutely everything they can on this left hand side to get the ball into the area. First it was Anderson, now it's Hutchinson. He'd got the run in the end on Mulder, and he managed to beat him not once but twice. And the left-footed ball across the middle, just ahead of the foot of Luca. But there's nobody at the back post for Nottingham Forest gambling. And they could have a couple of goals in their favour already. Thrown from the left-hand side from Brown. Goes down to Kante. Plays it back now to Guendouzi. Through the middle for Sheriff. His first time pass out left's intercepted by Murillo. Through the middle now for Luca. To his right hand side, but it's just behind its intended target. McAtee can't get there. And Brown comes away with the ball now for Fenerbahce. Now with Akçakoglu. Surrounded by Forest players. Chips the ball over the top with the outside of his boot. And it's headed away again by Murillo. Back up towards the halfway line now with Fenerbahce and with Guendouzi. Inside of his own half. Out to the right hand side. Well controlled here by Nene. He's under pressure. Has the overlapping run. Uses the support by Aiden. Brings this ball back into the area. Efforts blocked and goes behind. Is it going to be let to run? It is. So it's going to be the first corner of the evening. It's going to go to Fenerbahce. They wanted a penalty for a handball in the build-up. The cross is dragged back. Comes quite clearly off the foot of Morato. And Akçakoglu will go across to take the first corner of the afternoon for us. And it's in front of the travelling Fenerbahce supporters, with everybody up from the back. A swinging corner on its way. In towards the middle, strong hands by Ortega, gets it away to the edge of the area where Maury Hutchinson will send it further away. He's going to chase it down the left hand side, but the ball's left to run out of play. It'll be a Fenerbahce throw-in, but it will allow Nottingham Forest to regroup. Throw-in's taken by Nene, all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's not going to get all the way there though. Guendouzi has to make sure as he's chased down by Luca. Away it goes by Settin, headed down by Morato. Out of play for a throw-in now on the left-hand side for Fenerbahce. We've seen the best chances for them just go begging. And now Nene's down. Holding on to around his hip. I think at that point, with the reaction from Domenico Tedesco, he was actually wanting a free kick for it. I'm not quite sure what the incident is. Didn't look like there was too much of a challenge that he went in for, that he seemed to have come out worse off for. He took the throw in and that was the last we saw of him with the ball. So I'm not quite sure if this has been a underlying issue, but from 11 o'clock tomorrow, the draw for the round of 16, the quarter-final and the semi-final draws for the Europa League. Of course, as it stands, it will be Nottingham Forest, the one of these two sides that is going into that draw. It will be the furthest in a competition that all English sides that entered European competitions across all three are still in said competitions. There's a Fenerbahce supporter who decides to show that underneath his Fenerbahce top there is a Derby County shirt. As Nene is to the side and he'll be welcomed back onto the field in just a moment's time. Throw-in taken by Brown, goes back to Demir. Up to Yuksek, out to Aiden, over the top into the channel, well headed away by Morato, but it's only into the path of Yuksek, out to his right hand side for Nene, who is told he can come back onto the field, but Amari Hutchinson goes into the tackle with him. Hutchinson's tripped, Nene's holding onto his face, and he's rolling around in some pain, but Hutchinson's just given him a very disappointed look at the reaction he's seen from Nene, who's just come back onto the field. Not sure if Hutchinson has caught him. If anything, he might have caught him with a trailing hand and poked him in the eye, but I'm not sure it warrants that sort of response. It's very theatrical from Nene. He's back to his feet. And I think the theatrics is probably what's put the referee off from making any kind of decision in his favour. It's taken short by Anderson. To Morato, and now out to Murillo. Goes up through the middle, but it's cleared away by Guendouzi up towards the halfway line where Murillo will have a second chance at the ball. Now out to his right hand side for Yates. Space here for Cunha. And now for Williams. Williams over the top, headed away by Demir. Towards McAtee, who can't control the ball, and it's won back by Brown. Now to Demir again. And now to Brown by the touchline. Has to go back to Demir, he's got no other options. He's let it run all the way through to his goalkeeper. And then he's retrieved the ball almost immediately from him. Under pressure as well. Now out to Brown as Nottingham Forest have Fenerbahce penned inside of their own half at the moment. The clearance has gone to Murillo and it's still inside of Fenerbahce's half. Plays this across to Murato. Out to the right hand side now for Cunha. Now for McAtee. Drops this ball off for Dominguez. By the touchline, tries to beat his man. Feels he's brought down, no free kick given. Dominguez back to his feet, still in possession. Goes back towards his own half. Plays it back now to Cunha. Inside to Yates. All the way back to Murato. Out to Murillo. Into the opposition half now. Down the line to Hutchinson. Hutchinson flicks this ball on as Murillo's continued his run down that left-hand side. As Hutchinson's held, he's retrieved the ball back. Plays it inside now to Murato. Back down the left-hand side for Hutchinson. It's just ahead of him. But he is going to get there first and he beats his man. Takes it into the area. Drags it back but it's blocked by Guendouzi. He will get the clearance away on the second attempt up towards Sheriff. Sheriff now on the right-hand side has a breakaway and a chance here for Fenerbahce. There's numbers over in the middle. He's continuing into the area. It's allowed Forest players to get back. Tackle from Williams. He can't get there. It's gone all the way through and it has been finished by Akçakoglu. Fenerbahce have one on the board and Akçakoglu takes the ball back towards the halfway line. It was a breakaway on the right-hand side by Sheriff. Just found himself some space when Murillo started to push forward and offer support down that left-hand side with Hutchinson. But as the ball broke away with Sheriff, it looked like he might have left the pass a little bit too late. And as he played it across the middle, Williams stretched his foot out and it killed the ball in its stride. But he lost his footing, so couldn't clear the ball away. Sheriff is definitely onside, just looking now to see if Akçakoglu is. He certainly is, because of how deep Cunha's had to drop. Certainly onside when the ball's played across. And Williams, who just got his touch on the ball, couldn't do enough to drive it away from Akçakoglu. He placed the ball past Ortega. From about 8 yards out. It's now Nottingham Forest 0, Fenerbahce 1 on the night. And after 22 minutes, Forest will have a bit more work to do just to ensure any kind of stability at this point, as Hutchinson's pass is blocked out. Falls to Dominguez. Now to the right-hand side for McAtee. Cross comes into the middle, away by Guendouzi, and behind it goes. It'll be a corner now to Nottingham Forest on the right-hand side. Their first corner of the evening. Just looking at the support options that were available as Forest again piling forwards in numbers, and at this point Murillo's also on the edge of the area and it's pushing forward on that left hand side. It's just cost Nottingham Forest the goal, and he's trying to do the same kind of thing again as we're going to have an in-swinging corner from the right hand side. Again, options in the middle. Lucas in there, Cunha's in there, Yates as well, all around the 6-yard box, putting pressure on this Fenerbahce defence and the keeper. Over the top it goes, headed away up towards the halfway line, brought down by Murillo. Back out to the right hand side. We'll have a second attempt by Yates at the cross. Brings it back instead, and Forest will bide their time instead of being urgent. Now it's with Murato. Back to his left hand side for Hutchinson. Hutchinson finds Anderson. Into the area Anderson goes, across the middle it goes, and again nobody's there to take the touch, but this time it's inches wide of the post from a very acute angle. Elliot Anderson, if he'd managed to score from there, he would have very much deserved to do so, just based on the angle. The ball was curling. After making a couple of passes across the middle and nobody pouncing on them, he thought this time he'd go it alone. It'll be a goal kick for Fenerbahce. Setting has got his centre-backs either side of him, goes across to Guendouzi, under pressure, takes this out of the 6-yard box and passes this up towards the halfway line to Aydin. Out now to Demir. Now with Mulder towards the touchline. Clearance away, headed down by Anderson to Yates. And now Kante wins it back, and now it's with Sheriff. He's outnumbered, so has to go through the middle. And space here for Aydin again. It opens up on the left-hand side now for Akçakoglu. On the edge of the area, options in the middle. There's one free at the back post as well as Hutchinson slowly jogs his way back. But instead Fenerbahce take the time. It's back out to the left now for Demir. And now Guendouzi. Into the middle for Yüksek. To Kante. Turns on the ball inside the centre circle, past Yates. Now to his left-hand side, and now with Actacoglu. Inside it goes to Aidin. Now across the middle. Tackle in from Hutchinson. It's blocked back off the defender. Falls back to Yuksek. Now to his right-hand side, finds some space, but he's opted to keep it himself. Goes to his left instead to Guendouzi. It takes him further back towards his own half. The Nottingham Forest will move out again in unison. Out left to Brown. Then Conte. Up to Sheriff. Now to Brown, who's continued his run down that left-hand side, and space is opening up. He's chased down by Williams. Gets a very strong tackle in. And away it goes by Cunha. Brown wins it back. Williams back to his feet. And again, a stellar job from Williams just to maintain possession for Nottingham Forest in a very difficult situation. Not once but twice as the clearance away. And look at this time with a trailing arm catches Guendouzi, and it's a free kick to Fenerbahce. Luke comes away. Guendouzi just checks to ensure that he hasn't got a nosebleed as a result of the trailing arm. Guendouzi from just inside of Forest half will take the free kick short, gives it to Conte, and it's back to Guendouzi. 26 minutes gone, Nottingham Forest 0, Fenerbahce 1 on the night, makes it Nottingham Forest 3, Fenerbahce 1 on aggregate. Away from setting, headed down by Yates. Nottingham Forest again caught in possession. It's down with Williams, who gets it back immediately. Goes to Murato. Across the middle for Cunha. Murillo to his left-hand side, but instead goes through the middle for Hutchinson. Out to the right-hand side for McAtee. Now dribbles through the centre. Has to get the pass back off to Dominguez, but Conte wins it back. His clearance is blocked. Williams this time, and Conte goes in for the tackle, and a free kick's given against N'Golo Kante, which he's surprised to see. The referee will have a word with him as well. Both players going with a high boot into each other's boot, just because Yates caught the ball first and N'Golo Kante is down as having committed the foul. Anderson is the one stood over the free kick. Steps over it, does Hutchinson. Cross comes in from Anderson, in towards the middle. It's headed and turned behind for a corner for Nottingham Forest, and it needed to be by Yuksek. There was a sea of Nottingham Forest players making the run in towards the back post. Hutchinson will go over to take this corner from the left-hand side, as up from the back remains Murato, and Murillo's in there as well, Cunha also. Inside the 6-yard box, Yates lurking too. And towards the half-hour mark, out-swinging corner by Amari Hutchinson on its way. Faces to the edge of the area for Anderson, back to Hutchinson, and back to Anderson. Cross comes in, it's blocked by Conte, back up towards the halfway line, and Murillo helps this all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's with Ortega, who's quite far out of his area, gets the ball away though before Sheriff manages to get to him. It's flicked onto Hutchinson. Hutchinson over the top for Looker into the area, and it's turned behind as it stops from going behind for a corner. No, it's not. It will be a corner to Nottingham Forest. The touch from Yuksek, and it was off target, which allowed Setting, which forced Setting even to move across and try and get to the ball. It looks to be in an onside position, but Yuksek seemed to have a different opinion. Played short again by Hutchinson. Anderson this time decides to go for goal immediately. It's blocked away by Conte. All the way up to Murillo, and he's chased down by Actacoglu. He's managed to get the pass off to Ortega before Fenerbahce's goal scorer gets to the ball, and Ortega clears the ball away up towards Kante. And now Yuksek. There's a bit more of fluid football at the moment by Fenerbahce. They seem to have really been playing much better brand, especially since going a goal up, as Guendouzi plays this down for Kante. Now Yuksek's under pressure. Back to Kante again. Tackle by Anderson. The free kick's been given by the referee for Fenerbahce, just outside of the centre circle. Taken quickly, but brought back again. They'll have to have a second attempt. Played short to Kante. Out to his left hand side for Demir. Then Brown. Inside it goes to Kante, but it's intercepted, and away comes Elliot Anderson. Out to his right hand side for McAtee. Takes this to the edge of the area, lays the ball off for Williams. Williams to the corner flag, can't get the cross in. Chooses to go back instead. He's now with Cunha. Cunha over the top, goes direct, and it's behind for a goal kick for Fenerbahce. They've been very patient from Nottingham Forest to build up so far. They've tried a couple of long balls and it's not yet seemed to work for them. The goal kick's played short to Guendouzi. To the left hand side, Brown. Down the line for Actacoglu. Now Demir. Played away as it kept in play. The referee says it is originally, but then it's knocked behind by Williams, which gives a throw into Fenerbahce. The ball was tiptoeing down that left hand side. Brown plays it back now to Demir. His clearance upfield's headed away by Cunha. Out for a throw in on the left hand side into Nottingham Forest territory. Both sides at the moment just seem to be very panicky. This last couple of minutes seems to be a bit more of just Route 1 football from both of these sides. There's a chance there to play the ball short, but instead Brown's just gone for a long ball over the top, and Nottingham Forest have come away with the ball, and instead of playing that short, they've gone over the top and it's given it away. But it's now with Murillo on the left hand side. He's got Hutchinson available for support, passes the ball behind him. It's another sloppy pass by Nottingham Forest, and it'll be a throw in on the right hand side for Fenerbahce as Vita Pereira comes out and just tells his players they need to calm down slightly. Very sloppy in possession at the moment, but you could say the same for both of these sides, as the clearance away by Mulder goes out of play for a throw-in for Forest. Murillo across to take in front of the technical area. Murillo throws this down for Anderson. Anderson plays this across the middle for Cunha. Now to Williams. Now to McAtee. Again over the touchline, takes this into the area, onto his left foot, cross comes in towards the middle, flicked on, it's headed away though by Guendouzi, effort by Anderson, goes clearly behind. It'll be a goal kick. And again, short to be taken by Setting, out to his right hand side for Demir. Goes towards Sheriff, headed away. Now to Yuksek, tackle with Yates, out to Murillo. Inside of his own half, Murillo's pass through the middle's controlled by Kante. Still has Sheriff for support, finds the gap, over towards Sheriff, tries to beat Morato. Falls in the end to Aidin. Back to Sheriff, out to the left hand side, it's with Brown, takes it into the area, can't get his shot away from this angle, tries to bring it back past Williams, his cross is blocked and it's gone behind again, and it's another corner for Fenerbahce on that left hand side. Brown goes over to the travelling supporters to urge them on, and the volume is not to be mistaken from this Fenerbahce side. Very, very loud indeed inside the City ground. And swinging corner on its way. Way to the edge of the area to Kante. Back to Actacoglu. Cross comes in towards the middle. It's gone all the way through. Ortega gets there and grabs it at the second attempt. slow things down though. It's just bounced all the way through. It's come off his chest originally, and then he's caught it on the second attempt, but I don't know how much he knew about the initial touch from his chest. Now to Hutchinson, dribbles this inside, lays the ball off. Dominguez crossing towards the back post, headed across the middle, but it's gone behind by McAtee. And there'll be a goal kick now to Fenerbahce. Tackle in on Hutchinson, and Luka was in an offside position. I'm not sure that McAtee was. The flag stayed down. Had there been a goal, we may have had a VAR check, but it's going to be a Fenerbahce goal kick into the last 10 minutes of regular time at the end of this first half. Out to Guendouzi to the left hand side for Brown. Back through the middle now for Yuksek. Plays this upfield, but a strong tackle comes in from Anderson. It's going to be a throw in on the left hand side for Fenerbahce. It's going to be taken by Nene. He's been told to move back a few yards before he takes the throw in. Throwing it back to Guendouzi, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper and passes this out to the right hand side for Demir. Further right it goes for Aiden. To Kante, back to Aiden, but it's held up slightly. Still managed to get to the ball first. Into his own half for Demir, and across to Guendouzi. Over the top into the channel for Sheriff. Up against Cunha. Cunha gets to the ball first. He's going to have a battle to get this away. Manages to do so anyway. Chested down now though by Yuksek. Now inside to Guendouzi. Across the middle it goes to Demir. And then Anderson. Then to Yates. Then out left to Hutchinson. Just inside to Anderson. Then out to Murillo. Back to Morato. Across the middle for Cunha. Now out right to Williams. Williams back into the middle for Morato. Now out to Anderson. Now Murillo to Yates. Out to the right hand side. Cross comes in from Anderson. Just over Luka. Can't get his header on target. It's cleared away. Now with Aiden. Flicked back behind. Yuksek gets there. Loses his balance. Wants a free kick. He'll get one for the challenge by Dominguez. He's had to just try and control the ball because I don't think he expected it coming all the way back to him. And it's very harsh to give a free kick against it looking at the replay because he just stepped his foot in the way and lost his balance on his own, but the referee's seen it and given a free kick anyway. Guendouzi plays it across the middle for Demir. Back to Guendouzi, just outside of the centre circle. Into Kante. Now out to Mulder. Now Aiden. Now Kante. Kante out to the right hand side for Aiden. On the line for N'Golo Kante. Challenge is made by Murillo. Balls back to Kante, heads it over the top, but Anderson gets there first. He's in a challenge at the moment with Nene. Has to go back through the middle, but it's now with Sharif. Ball across the middle goes into the side netting, and he was at a very acute angle with no support. I don't think Fenerbahce expected Nottingham Forest to gift them possession there, as Anderson, very rare mistake by Elliot Anderson, played the ball just behind Morato. Got support arriving at the back post, but he didn't have the time to be able to wait for them to get there. Just trying to get a shot on target. Short goal kick played by Ortega. Out to Cunha. Played off by Luka. Run back by Brown. Now inside to Yuksek. Challenge made by Yates. Wants a free kick, but not going to get one, so he goes back in for the challenge and wins the ball back, and then he's brought down, and now it will be a free kick to Fenerbahce, and we'll see our first yellow card of the afternoon, and it will come to Luka, who gave away possession too cheaply in the first instance and tried to make up for it with what seemed to be a very rash challenge, just as Yuksek was getting away with the ball. It's inside now to Yuksek from the free kick. That's blocked. It's gone all the way back to Setting, just on the edge of his own area. Gets this ball away to the right-hand side. Led away by Murillo. Kante back into the area of Sharif. Chests this back to Kante, but the tackle's made by Yates. Up goes Dominguez to win it. It's fallen to Anderson. Out to his left-hand side from Hutchinson. Hutchinson's poor pass down that left-hand side. It's gifted possession to Aiden on the edge of the area. Still options available. Plays it back to Aktakoglu, who just drags it wide from the edge of the area. But what is going on with Nottingham Forest defensively? In the last 3 minutes, they've given two very clumsy passes and chances away from Fenerbahce. And it was Aiden this time making his way down. And Aktakoglu did have a man on. Nottingham Forest were back in numbers. His first time effort was just dragged all too easily wide. A goal kick to Fenerbahce, for Nottingham Forest. Sends his players up towards the halfway line this time to take it. No short options, no inviting of the pressure. In this entire first half, only one shot has gone on target. That just so happens to be the goal that we've got so far, as Aktakoglu plays this out left for Brown. Just ahead of him though, now to play it goes for a throw in for Nottingham Forest, who I'm sure will be more than happy to take this lead into the half-time break. Come back now by Williams. Pena goes all the way back to Ortega, just beside the penalty spot. Ortega to the edge of the area. Yates just ahead of him, finds a gap here for Murillo, who's challenging with N'Golo Kante. Wins his side a free kick just by holding off the midfielder. Out to Anderson. Anderson to Hutchinson. Back to Anderson inside of Nottingham Forest half. Plays this back to Morato. There's his goalkeeper there for support. Goes all the way back to Ortega. Closed down by Sharif. Just gets the clearance away in time. Picked on by McAtee, but won back by Brown. Now into his own half. McAtee still there applying the pressure. Dominguez wins it back. Has to go back into his own half though. On that right hand side. Dribbles this now though, and he's opened up some space. Plays it to Luka, who's felt a tug on his shirt from Guendouzi. Nothing there, says the referee. And it's with Brown. Pass inside to Kante. Now Guendouzi on the edge of the area. Clearance away down the right hand side under pressure. Brought down by Nene. Out to his left hand side for Brown. Right, with plenty of space to move into the opposition half. He's now got Aiden making himself available. Brown gives him the ball across the middle to Aktakoglu, cleared away in the end by Anderson. Out to the right hand side for McAtee, who beats his man and goes down. Wants a free kick, throwing given to Fenerbahce instead. Taken by Brown, throws this to Yuksek. Across the middle it goes, now to Guendouzi. Now Demir. Into the middle for Kante. And now Yuksek. Now to Guendouzi. Guendouzi out to his left hand side, has support, instead goes through the middle, and it's forced back again into Fenerbahce's half with Yuksek. It just seems like at the moment Nottingham Forest just slowing things down, just trying to stay in a very tight formation. They've just caught offside as well, so a free kick to Nottingham Forest as the pass to Kante was in an offside position. We will have this from just outside of the goalkeeper's area by about 7 or 8 yards. The referee's just telling Ortega that he needs to hurry up with the free kick, so instead he's rolled this down to Anderson, who plays it back to Ortega. Chips out to his left now for Murillo, brings this ball down with plenty of time and space. It's the middle now for Yates. Yates didn't have the same time and space, but as the challenge comes in, it's come off of Hutchinson, and it's going to be a throw into Fenerbahce on the right hand side. A bit more urgency from the visitors now, just to try and see things through. Try and get themselves an extra goal perhaps just before half time. It makes things very different when you've only got a goal deficit then. To try and make up as a long throw down that right hand side. It seemed to go quite the distance that Fenerbahce expected it to, and it's now with Anderson. Pass inside now to Luka. Just to get across the middle, but he's challenged. Now Aiden. Just to Yuksek, out to the left-hand side, well intercepted there by Cunha, and Brown gets there first, and Brown's going to be chasing down that left-hand side. Cunha's going to get there ahead of him, as is McAtee. McAtee plays all the way back to Ortega just outside the 6-yard box. His pass goes out to Williams, then to Cunha, but it's dispossessed, and now with Kante, back out to Brown. And Yuksek, as we've got 4 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, perhaps due to the incident we had at the very beginning of the game with a flare making its way onto the field, and of course the game being stopped in the opening 20 seconds. Now it's with Kante, outside of the centre circle, over the top. And it goes now to Aktakoglu, under pressure, lays this ball behind him. It's with Sheriff, his efforts blocked by the chest of Ortega. Turned away, second effort comes in, and Ortega holds on to it this time around. It's a lovely ball by Kante, well read by Aktakoglu. Lovely little back heel for Sheriff. His effort just went across the left-hand side of the goalkeeper. Instead of throwing his hands at it, it took a deflection. It just came off the chest of Stefan Ortega. When he was at Manchester City, he tended to use his chest for a lot of those saves. Didn't feel comfortable when the ball was going low, just to get to the ball with his hands. As long as it diverts it away and he carries it into a different area. Now it's gone all the way back to Ortega. He waits for any pressure. He's happy to do so. He takes us to the edge of his own area. As it goes to Murillo, but it's over him. And it's going to be a throw-in now to Fenerbahce. See if they can get themselves that second goal before the break. Up towards the halfway point of added time. Back it goes now to Setin. And away by Morato. Brought down by Dominguez. It's it all caught up with Anderson. Out to his left-hand side here for Hutchinson. Lays it back to Murillo again. Now into his own half for Morato. Through the middle for Anderson. To his right for Yates. And further over to his right for Williams. Now McAtee. Williams makes the overlapping run. Still with McAtee on the edge of the area. Decides not to put the cross into the box. Plays it back to Yates instead. Now to McAtee. Now Williams. And Yates back into his own half for Morato. He's had to drop back 5 yards to get to the ball, but he's unchallenged and in space. Sheriff then will close him down as he passes this directly through the middle. Gets all the way through for Dominguez. Out to McAtee. On the edge of the area. First cross is blocked. Away comes Brown with the ball. Looks for many different options. Can't find one that he wants to go with. So waits for the run to be made, and in the end switches this out to his right hand side, and it's just ahead of Aiden, and it'll be a throw in on that left hand side for Nottingham Forest. Well, we've got players warming up for Nottingham Forest. Perhaps not sure if we're going to see any of those into the second half. The top goal scorer in the competition, Igor Jesus, is one of those warming up. Not had much luck in terms of game time for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, but when he's been called upon in the Europa League so far this season, he's been very clinical. 7 goals and an assist so far this season's competition. And with a yellow card already for Luca, it's how long will it be left? Might be a change expected at half time. Just a bit more energy in that final third as well. Murillo now out to Dominguez. Now Hutchinson by the byline. Cross comes in towards the middle. It's evaded everybody. Brown's not going to get there before that goes out of play, and it will be a throw-in just as we get to the 4-minute mark. And right on cue, Maurizio Mariani has blown the half-time whistle. It has not been the greatest of first halves, you could say, for either of these sides. Fenerbahce have been very composed in trying to build the ball up. They've been very patient in trying to create these chances. They've been struggling, though, to break this Nottingham Forest side down. That was, however, confidence heading in towards this second half. A big fight on for the next 45 minutes. At half time at the City Ground though, it's not way here in Nottingham. Current scoreline is Nottingham Forest 0, Fenerbahce 1, which means on aggregate Nottingham Forest lead by 3 goals to 1, and they are making plenty of changes. Nottingham Forest, but we'll come to a halt because as Fenerbahce have got things underway for us, out to the right hand side, the ball's gone over towards the substitute Semedo, who's brought it back in towards Aktakoglu. His first touch has beaten Cunha, but then he's gone down inside the area, and the referee's pointed to the spot and given a penalty as the knees have collided. So it's a penalty for Fenerbahce early on. Just got the first touch to beat his marker. The foot didn't touch. It looked like, if anything, it was a collision of the knees. So the decision by Maurizio Mariani was to give a penalty. We'll see if VAR are going to have an intervention there, but that's just a minute into the second half. Nottingham Forest have made 4 of the 5 available substitutions at the break. There's been 1 change for Fenerbahce. So whilst VAR have that penalty check, I'll just let you know of those changes. So Callum Hudson-Odoi, Aina, Igor Jesus and Sangari are all on. McAtee, Murillo, Luca and Yates are off. So the check is over for VAR, which means it is a penalty for Fenerbahce and a chance for Aktakoglu to get his second of the game, and a chance to really make this second 45 very interesting. He's up against Ortega with a chance to get a second goal of the afternoon for him and a second goal of the afternoon for Fenerbahce. On the whistle of the referee is VAR, and Marco Di Bello has had a look over things and says that the referee's decision was correct. I would have to agree that it's the right decision to have given a penalty. While the feet didn't collide, the knees did. Aktakoglu steps up to take the penalty, sends Ortega the wrong way, and it's 2-0 to Fenerbahce on the night. It's 3-2 on aggregate. Rushes straight back to the halfway line with the ball. No mistake from the spot for an already confident Aktakoglu, who could have had another goal in the first half, so could have got his hat-trick by this goal. But the main thing is, for Fenerbahce, is that the ball has rustled the back of the net, and in the early stages of this second half, Fenerbahce have got exactly what they needed to make this next 44 minutes extremely interesting, and the supporters that this time weren't behind the goal when the goal was scored are now in loud voice getting behind their side. This change for Fenerbahce at half time was Nene off, Nelson Semedo on. So Semedo will likely drop in at that right back position, which is exactly where he's got the ball from now. Goes up towards Aktakoglu, who's still more into a central role. There's like a second striker alongside Sheriff. And now it's back to Demir. Out to the right hand side for Mulder. He's played it inside for Kante. He's going to chase down the right hand side, but it's just ahead of him. It'll now be a throw into Nottingham Forest on their left hand side. Going taken by the substitute Sangari. Goes all the way through in the end to his goalkeeper in Setin, just outside of the 6-yard box. And to his left hand side he's got Guendouzi. In all 26 games where Fenerbahce have been trailing at the end of the first leg, they've not gone on to win the game or qualify from the round. Now with Cunha, Hutchinson through the middle. Cunha takes it off him into the area. A chance here, well saved. It falls back and it's just wide in the end by Dominguez. Goal kick to Fenerbahce. And that's the first shot on target in this entire game in the end for Nottingham Forest. He managed to latch on to the end of a misplaced touch by N'Golo Kante, which led him through on goal. Saved well by the visitors' goalkeeper, and that was the chance for Nottingham Forest to restore that 2-goal advantage. Now it's with Guendouzi from a short goal kick to Yuksak. Back to Chetin. First time clearance upfield, headed on by Sheriff. Brought down though by Sangare through the middle for Anderson. Anderson inside the centre circle. Free kick given to Fenerbahce for a handball. Taken quickly to Sheriff. Has to go back into his own half though. Now with Mulder. Moved over to the left-hand side. Brown's moved further upfield. Now it's with Yuksek. Now Guendouzi. Through the middle. Out to Semedo. Down that right-hand side. Slide tackle comes in from Morato. And it will be a throw-in on the right-hand side inside of Nottingham Forest half for Fenerbahce. Semedo comes into the opposition half to take. There are 40 minutes left for Nottingham Forest to hold on, and based on how the first half went and the second half seems to have started, they will be very much up against it, as that pass has taken a deflection away from N'Golo Kante, but he's recovered well and wins it back. It's inside now for Aiden. Aiden back out to Semedo, can't keep it in play, and the throw-in's being given in favour of Nottingham Forest. Out on that left-hand side. Taken by Cunha. Inside to Sangare. It's the middle now for Morato. Again now to Hutchinson. First touch gets it away from Dominguez through the middle. Turns on the ball as Igor Jesus. Out to his right-hand side. He's got support. Finds Aina in support. Across the middle it goes. It's just ahead of his target. It's gone all the way through and out of play for a goal kick. Almost onto the end of it was Callum Hudson-Odoi. Substitutes combining almost then as Igor Jesus played the ball out for Aina, who's making an excellent run from that right-hand side. So the way that Forest have approached this, they've got Aina on the right-hand side, Cunha and Morato stay as the centre-backs, with Williams reverting back to his left-back position where he's more natural, and Sangare playing just in front where Yates were alongside Anderson. And then it's Dominguez, Hudson-Odoi and Igor Jesus as the remainder. Omari Hutchinson there as well. Now to Dominguez, can turn on the ball in space. It's on the side of his own half though, out to his left side for Morato. Wide left with Hudson-Odoi. Just into the edge of the area, plays it across to Anderson. One more gets it to Aina, just on the edge of the area, lines up an effort, sends this inside to Omari Hutchinson. Aina then comes back for support, still on the edge of the area currently. Now Dominguez, now to Hutchinson. Side to Dominguez again, and now back to Hutchinson, back towards his own half. Now with Cunha. Back to Morato and back to Cunha. Goes wide right to Dominguez. Dominguez to the edge of the area. Drilled across the middle, finds his target in Anderson. Now one further over for Hudson-Odoi. Brings this back, lines up effort just wide. Goal kick in the end to Fenerbahce, despite the arguments coming from Williams. The ball was spinning wide, but he felt that maybe it took a touch on its way through and it should have been a corner. Goal kick taken short to Guendouzi. Back to the left-hand side now to Brown, under pressure from Aina. Comes away with the ball and he's tripped on the edge of his own area. Free kick now to Fenerbahce. Now back to his feet. It's almost like a setup of three centre-backs at the moment now for visitors. Guendouzi plays this across to Kante. Now across the middle to Demir. To the right-hand side for Semedo. Side to Kante, back to Semedo. Inside to Sheriff, who's tripped. No free kick given. Then into the gap, and Sheriff's managed to find his run through the middle. He's up against Cunha though, who's regained ground well. He's been support. Cunha wins it back, and then it's taken back off him from Sheriff, who's gone down on the edge of the area, wants a free kick, it's not given. Yuksek then has a shot, it's deflected into the arms of Ortega, who rolls this out to his left-hand side. But towards the halfway line comes Williams. The ball through the middle, Hutchinson's going to chase, but he's never going to get there first. It's gone all the way through to the goalkeeper. And Guendouzi. Up to Brown, but it's just behind him, and it'll be a throw now to Nottingham Forest on the right-hand side as Aina comes across to take. So his his left hand side he's got Cunha for support. Looking for any support to his right. Plays this short now to Anderson. Gets the ball immediately back from him. Pass through the middle. Finds space here for Morata. Out to his left hand side for Williams. Nottingham Forest have switched the ball over. Now to Hudson-Odoi. On the edge of the area. A couple of step overs and brings it inside. Back to Williams. There's Anderson alongside him for support. And that left hand side for Hudson-Odoi. Can't get his cross in. It's blocked. And it's gone behind for the Nottingham Forest corner. Just taken a touch off the corner flag as well. Third corner of the evening for Nottingham Forest. Swinging corner on its way from Elliot Anderson. And towards the middle, caught unchallenged by Chetin, who's looking for a quick outlet to try and launch a counter-attack, but Igor Jesus is immediately on the goalkeeper to stop that. Rolls it back now to Brown. Brown's ball down the line. It's going to be chased here by Sheriff. He's managed to get there ahead of Ortega, but his touch is too heavy and it's going to be a throw-in by the corner flag for Nottingham Forest. And Ortega, as risky as that was, got the result that he wanted out of it. Could have been so much worse for Forest with the goalkeeper taking such a gamble. And now he's down inside the 6-yard box in some pain, so the referee will go across to just check on him. Not sure if this is a tactic to try and waste a bit of time, but we've got goalkeepers on the bench warming up. If anything does happen, we've got Angus Gunn and Kean Willows if needed for Nottingham Forest. Pereira may need to use his final substitution on a goalkeeper change. He's still got Morgan Gibbs White, who he might like to utilise the chance of, if they need to get themselves a goal in a more attacking situation. Gunn is warming up. Of course, Nottingham Forest will be hoping it's nothing too serious. Ortega is now back to his feet and he seems to be able to continue. And out on the right hand side now, Aina will take this throw in. Tries to work the line with the throw in. Headed back into a dangerous position. Cunha gets there first. His pass up towards Dominguez has taken a touch off the referee. It will be a drop ball for the referee for Nottingham Forest as it diverted it into the path of Fenerbahce in a very dangerous position. The ball now for Cunha. To the right hand side for Aina. Back inside to Cunha on the edge of the area. Through the middle for Sangare. Out to the left hand side now. Right, so plays this to Williams. He's been given the armband since Yates went off at the half-time point. Now to Cunha. Out right to Aina. Inside now, Sangare towards the halfway line. His pass has taken a touch and it only goes towards Aina. A couple of step overs takes him out to the right hand side and it's with Dominguez. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. It'll be a throw into Fenerbahce on their left hand side around the halfway line. Taken by Brown. To his right hand side. As Mulder for support. Instead throws it down the line. First touch comes off of Aktikoglu though, and out of play for a throw in. England will go across to take from again just in front of the technical area where his manager is currently stood. Go over the top, flicked on by Igor Jesus. Omari Hutchinson's going to chase this down. Guendouzi plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper, and away it goes by Chetin up towards the halfway line. Brought down under pressure there from Yusek. Kept in play in the end by Brown. Over the top it goes all the way through to Ortega, and then the flag goes up saying it wasn't kept in play, so it will be a throw-in. As Fenerbahce prepare for another change. It's going to be Merkin coming on in just a moment's time. Haven't got quite as many substitutes available at their disposal through injuries. Sangare plays this back from Morato now to Williams. On the left hand side for Hudson-Odoi. Has to beat his man, but instead puts his foot on the ball to hold things up. Now Anderson. Anderson's crossing towards the middle. Cleared at the first time of asking. Up towards the halfway line again. And away comes Yuksek. His pass is blocked by Aina. And now with Anderson. To his right hand side, Omari Hutchinson takes this into the area. Beats his man. Cross comes in towards the back post. Evaded everybody. And Semedo's going to chase this down. But Hudson-Odoi will get there first. And Nottingham Forest maintain possession inside of Fenerbahce's half. We've reached the hour mark in the game now. Aggregate score is Nottingham Forest 3, Fenerbahce 2 now to Omari Hutchinson. Dribbles this inside onto his left foot, lines up an effort, it's blocked. Falls back to Anderson. Cross to Aina, it's a short pass, but Aina gets there first and it's born to N'Golo Kante. And away come this time Fenerbahce up towards the halfway, then out to the right hand side with Aidin. His pass is dispossessed. Semedo then wins it back. Through the middle, first touch holds us up by Sheriff. Back to the edge of his own area with Guendouzi. Across to Demir. Now to Brown. Brown down the line on that left hand side, but Cunha gets there first. Intercepts the ball and gives it to Aina, who's pushed in the back by Brown. Free kick now in Fenerbahce's half on the right hand side for Nottingham Forest. And now we will see that change for Fenerbahce. It is their second. And it's going to be Marco Asensio coming on right now for Ogre's Aidin. Many experienced players in European competitions playing for Fenerbahce, not just Marco Asensio and Nelson Semedo, but of course the likes of N'Golo Kante we already know about, and then the players that are missing through injury, Edison, Skriniar, both had success. Fred as well in this competition, if not the Champions League in their careers, so plenty of experience, not necessarily at the disposal through injuries at the moment for Fenerbahce, but if they can make it through this stage, they can get themselves something out of this game against Nottingham Forest. The game is there for the taking. Forest are struggling to build any momentum at the moment. Now with Sangare, lays this ball off for Morato just on the edge of the area. And then back inside for Sangare on the edge of his own area across to the right hand side. Koglu closes this down and gets a touch on the clearance. It's headed down by Kante. Now for Asensio, out to the right hand side for Semedo. Loses out to Hudson-Odoi. And it's all the way through to Elliot Anderson inside of his own half. Out to Williams. Fakes the pass inside and continues to run down the left hand side. Through the middle it goes now and finds some space for Igor Jesus. Now to Omari Hutchinson down the left hand side. It's well read by Brown, who goes down inside of the area as Nottingham Forest continue through. And a free kick has been given in favour of Fenerbahce, and that's the typical old get yourself between the player and the ball, go down, and you'll likely win yourself a free kick for it. And that's exactly what's happened. And Omari Hutchinson hasn't actually made any contact with Brown. He's not complained about it, so credit to Hutchinson for just stepping away from the situation. But usually if there's contact, you can see a free kick given. The referee should be aware of it. And this time there was no contact and a free kick anyway. Now Morato across the middle. Got a player down at the moment for Fenerbahce, but Nottingham Forest are continuing down the left-hand side. Now with Elliot Anderson. To the middle for Morato as the referee now pulls things to a stop, and it is the goal scorer for Fenerbahce this evening. It's Kerem Koglu that's down. He's holding on to his knee. He went in for a challenge with Aina, and it looked like it was one of those very difficult challenges to go into, and whoever came out of it, it's a very strong challenge, and it looked like his knee may have got twisted when he's done just that. Of course, other than the goal, he got his penalty at the beginning of this second half. Just to mention that Panathinaikos, Lille, Stuttgart all went through in the earlier games. Bologna are winning by a 1-0 against Brann currently, which gives them a 2-goal advantage. Of course, winning 1-0 in the first leg. Celta Vigo are 1-0 up against PAOK. They won 2-1 in the first leg. Genk up against Dinamo Zagreb, which makes it 3-3 in aggregate there. At the moment, Nottingham Forest 0, Fenerbahce 2 here, makes it 3-2 to Nottingham Forest on aggregate. And we can continue with Nottingham Forest in possession out to Cunha, to Aina on the right hand side, now to Dominguez, further right to Hutchinson. Dribbles this inside and plays it across the middle for Morata. Inside the centre circle. To feed that through for Elliot Anderson, but again the tackle's made and out it goes to Hudson-Odoi. By the touchline, tries to beat his man. Cross comes in towards the back post. Dominguez is making the run there. It's gone over the goal and behind for a goal kick first. Frustration from Hudson-Odoi. He's got the run on the right back, but he can't seem to do anything with the ball as he takes it by the byline. Stefan Ortega's just instructing where he wants the defenders of his side at the moment. Anderson's still warming up just in case he is required. Back up to Stefan Ortega. All kicks taken though. They're down by Dominguez, who's gone down holding onto his head. Back to Aina. Down the right hand side for Hutchinson as Nottingham Forest continue playing, but I think at one point Fenerbahce thought of stopping. Aina now plays this behind Hudson-Odoi, who's going to try and keep it in play and does, but it's very close. Checks now and Dominguez is back to his feet, but Nottingham Forest continued playing. The referee allowed him to do so while he was down on the floor holding on to his head, and I always thought that the rule that was set in place for referees to follow is that if a player's down with a head injury, you stop the game immediately and you check that everything's okay, but thankfully Dominguez has got back to his feet and he's fine. That's beside the point, isn't it? For Williams. Possible now for Sangare inside of the centre circle, out to the right hand side for Dominguez. Hutchinson moves through the centre, now for Aina on the edge of the area, holds up the cross, now closed down by Brown. Flag stays down even still now, cross over towards the back post, brought down by Hudson-Odoi inside the area, tries to beat his man, sends it goalwards, and it's gone all the way through. And if Aina is in an onside position, which we will likely have a VAR check for, Nottingham Forest have restored their advantage, and the substitution that was made at half-time has certainly worked, because Aina making those runs down the right-hand side has overpowered the Fenerbahce defence. They've really been struggling with being outnumbered on that side, and it was only a matter of time before one of those crosses really caused any real danger. And Aina's cross over to the back post. Just going to look now to see if he is in an onside position. Oh, he certainly is. Guendouzi stood on the edge of the area, so immediately the arm's gone up there from Mulder, who thought he was in an offside position, and if everyone was in line with Mulder, he would have been offside and this goal wouldn't stand. But Guendouzi sat a little deeper on the edge of the area, and it caused all sorts of problems, and it's cost them ultimately a goal. But Hudson-Odoi, who I mentioned just a moment ago, seemed to have the run on Semedo on that left hand side, has done it just again, played it across the face of goal into the far corner past Chetin, who hasn't had too much to do in the game so far. He's perhaps made a couple of saves, but not too much. He's now conceded, and it is Nottingham Forest 4, Fenerbahce 2 on aggregate, 2-1 on the night. As Fenerbahce had worked so hard to get themselves into the game, it looks like it's starting to fall behind again as we reach the 70th minute of this game. The Nottingham Forest home supporters appear to have found their voice once again. Straight from kick-off, out to the left-hand side for Brown, inside to Yuksuk. Now back to Mulder, and Guendouzi, through the middle but goes all the way through to Williams. Doesn't win the second challenge though, and Kante comes away with it, now to Asensio. Has Semedo to his right-hand side for support. And he'll take his time to get the cross, and eventually does it, takes it. Deflection on its way through. Taken away still though by Morata. Come in by Igor Jesus. Kante's challenge at Gets the ball out to the right hand side. Semedo's cross comes in. First touch by Akçakoglu, can't direct it on target, and it goes behind for a Nottingham Forest goal kick. And they're back to just taking their time slightly with the ball. In fact, the corner's been given by the referee. Well, that was a goal kick, but a second corner of the afternoon for Fenerbahce. Asensio will go across to take this from the right hand side. It'll be an in-swinging corner with his favoured left foot. Players come up from the back. Immediate response here needed by Fenerbahce in towards the near post. Takes a touch and eventually punted away by Cunha towards Nelson Semedo. Back over to the right hand side, headed away by Hutchinson. Brought down by Jesus. Back to Hutchinson again. Switched over to the right hand side. Dominguez is going to be in a race here with Guendouzi to get there. Guendouzi will try and shield it out of play for a throw-in, and does just that. Considered playing the ball back to his goalkeeper, but thought better of it as Guendouzi throws it all the way back to Chetin. Now through the middle for N'Golo Kante. Traces through for Sheriff. Rato gets the challenge in there, and out of play it goes for a throw-in. Referee just calls off stop to play. Checks and Sheriff, and everything's okay. We are good to go again. It's played back through the middle for Morata. To the left now for Williams. Inside from Anderson. Just the face of goal, it goes to Cunha. To Anderson, loses out to Kante. Across the middle, controlled by Yuksek. Hands on more for Semedo. Asensio's in the box. Cross goes in towards him. Headed away to the edge of the area. Brought down by Jesus for Sangare. Outright to Hutchinson. Lets the ball come to him. He's got time to do so. Gets it back inside though and looks for an option. Over the top to Jesus, cleared away, but it's going to the path of Aina. If he chooses to keep it in, he does. He actually takes a touch off of his knee and goes out of play for a throw-in, so he could have let it go for a throw-in anyway. Instead, tries to control the ball, and it's given the opposition a throw-in. Taken by Brown, throws it down for Kante. Ball out left. Akçakoglu lets this run across his body. Cunha gets there, and his clearance has come off of the shin of Akçakoglu, and it'll be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest on that right-hand side. Aina to take the throw-in. Across the middle it goes, and out to the left-hand side for Williams. Now for Anderson. And Hudson-Odoi. Back to Anderson. Again, spreads it out right this time for Aina. Now into the opposition half. Now Anderson, back to Aina. And Dominguez. And then Aina. Nottingham Forest really slowing things down at the moment. No rush at all to get the ball into the opposition half and risk any sort of loss of possession. 3 shots on target in this entire game, and they've managed to find their breakthrough. Now Anderson, back inside for Hudson-Odoi, now to Jesus, out to the left hand side for Williams on the edge of the area. In plenty of space, will take this into the area, get his cross in, it's blocked. Semedo tries to get there, Williams still comes away with the ball, and the outstretched foot of Demir turns the ball away. So we've got Hutchinson on the edge of the area, now Anderson, now Williams. Back it goes to Morata. Inside for Williams. Hudson-Odoi back to Williams. Now Dominguez. To Williams. Williams' pass goes directly to Asensio, gives it to Kante. Kante tries to beat his man, but in comes Cunha. Now Anderson, and now to Jesus, and again Nottingham Forest. As much as they lost possession, win it back almost immediately. Just taking the time inside their own half. Sangare now to Anderson. There's not as much urgency either from Fenerbahce. They seem comfortable with Nottingham Forest in possession. They're not causing any issues really, they're just allowing the clock to run down. So going across the middle from Morato, right to Aina. Into the middle now for Sangare. Runs this out to the left hand side for Williams. Williams for Hudson-Odoi. Takes us to the edge of the area. Inside to Anderson. Anderson takes his time. Second attempt across, blocked, falls to Hudson-Odoi, sends it goalwards and just wide. So they are still trying to get themselves an extra goal. Just a curling effort from Hudson-Odoi. A last little bit of finesse aimed towards the far corner. It found itself wide. 15 minutes left to go, and now we will see the change of Merkin coming on. So 2 changes on their way for Fenerbahce. Kichi is going to be the other one that is coming on, so Merkin and Kichi are your 2 coming on. We'll see who it is that is leaving the field. Sharif is the first one, Sneaky Sharif. Some problems for the Nottingham Forest defence, not always with the desired outcome. That's from the goal kick is played short to Guendouzi towards the halfway line. Guendouzi now through the middle to Asensio. First touch beats his man out to the left hand side for Merkin. Merkin into the opposition half, now through the middle. Will be chased down by Akta-Koglu, and away it goes by Cunha. Brought down by Yuksek. Can't keep hold of possession for long as it comes away with Igor Jesus. His switch of the pass is blocked by N'Golo Kante. Now it's with Yuksek again. Over to Akta-Koglu on the edge of the area. Can't get his shot away. Tries twice. Blocked again, this time by Williams. Gets up to clear the ball away as well. Now with Asensio through the middle. Akta-Koglu. It's nearly ricocheted back in favour of Asensio, but it's cleared away by Forest. Seems all panicky at the moment by Nottingham Forest defensively. Just making sure they are clearing their lines, and Fenerbahce on the other hand just trying to, by all means, try and find their way through. Now with Kichi. Merkin. And Mulder. Now Yuksek. And towards Guendouzi at the centre circle. So the second change to tell you about was Akichi for Sheriff. The first was Merkin for Brown. And Merkin just continues down the left hand side with a bit more of an attacking responsibility than what Brown did. We're entering into the final 10 minutes of regular time at the end of this game. More work for Nottingham Forest to do, with Vita Pereira just looking on at the moment. Merkin plays this back for Mulder. And now Guendouzi. Outside of the centre circle. Up to his right hand side for Semedo. Semedo back inside for Guendouzi. Now for Yuksek. Sangare wins it back. Now for Hutchinson, through the middle for Jesus. Jesus beats his man, a chance here for Igor Jesus. It's saved well by the keeper. And away comes Asensio with the ball, out to his left hand side. With Demir. Now for Merkin. There's a player down, and Merkin puts the ball out of play. It's another save by Chetin that could have resulted in the game being over here, but Igor Jesus, the top goal scorer in the Europa League this season, 7 goals in 7 games. He's got an assist as well. You'd expect him to perhaps have scored from a one-on-one situation, bearing down on goal, but Guendouzi closed the angle enough for him that made it very difficult, and Chetin did the rest. Throwing taken. Merkin back to Guendouzi. Back to Merkin, who goes through the middle for Kichi to chase. Won by Cunha, now to Sangare, through the middle for Elliot Anderson, can't control, and it's now with Kante. To Actoglu, as his effort at goal, it's blocked, and away it goes by Murato up towards the halfway line. Jesus gives possession back to Fenerbahce, but it's won back by Anderson. Now to Jesus, to Sangare, now Anderson, challenge comes in. And Anderson comes away with the ball again, now to Sangare, to his right hand side finds Aina. Aina now to Hutchinson by the touchline, switch through the middle. Jesus first ball over the top, and it's going to go all the way through to Chetin. He comes to meet it at the edge of the area, plays it out to Guendouzi. Towards the halfway line. Guendouzi out to his right for Semedo. Surrounded by Forest players, back to Guendouzi. It's the middle for Asensio. Right. Seems like Fenerbahce, when Nottingham Forest had that brief spell in full possession, just trying to waste a bit more time. Looks at that point, all Fenerbahce were doing was just biding their time until these changes were made, and now they're given the last roll of the dice at Nottingham Forest as Kante plays this up through the middle. Cunha gets there, plays it back to his keeper. Ortega on the edge of the 6-yard box. Chips us out to the right hand side. Hutchinson gets there first. Yuksek then wins it from him. Goes back to Mulder. And now Kante. Late pass to find Actoglu on the edge of the area. Has support available. Takes it into the area. But again, away comes Cunha with the ball. Referee waves away a penalty. But to his credit, Actoglu didn't look like he was searching for a penalty. The free kick's now being given to Nottingham Forest by the touchline on the right hand side as Amari Hutchinson is tripped. Heading back in towards his own half by Mulder. 82 minutes on the clock. To the final 8 of regular time, plus any added time the referee chooses to add. Morgan Gibbs-White just receiving his final instructions to perhaps see things through for Nottingham Forest. As Aina goes back to the edge of the area, now with Cunha. On the way back to Ortega. And to his left hand side for Morata. Further down the left now for Williams. Williams over the top, flicked on by Jesus. Chased down by Kante. Away the ball goes. Kante gets there onto the right hand side. He's forced to go back into his own half now for Guendouzi. Play over the top down the right hand side for Semedo. He's good first touch, cross comes in towards the middle, it's gone past everybody and out of play. And again Fenerbahce crying out for a corner. Ball over the top, a great first touch by Semedo and a lovely ball into the box. Just going to see not come off anybody from Nottingham Forest on its way through, but we'll get to see the change now with Morgan Gibbs-White, who it is that he's going to be coming on for, and it is Dominguez. Great shift from Nicolas Dominguez in the middle of the park. Morgan Gibbs-White isn't exactly a player you'd expect to come on and see any sort of reduction in quality in that midfield area. Like changes the final change for Vitor Pereira. 6.5 minutes left to go. Anderson out to Williams, now to Anderson, into his own half for Morata. Morata inside for Sangare. Just over to the right hand side now for Hutchinson. Just keeps it in play, but then as he tries to do a couple of step overs, catches the ball with his right foot and knocks it out of play for a throw in. Fenerbahce taken short to Merker, all the way back to his goalkeeper. This time clearance away by Chetin, brought down by Yuksek on the left hand side through the middle, but it's blocked out by Sangare and he's forced to go into his own half now for Guendouzi. Now for Demir. Near out the right hand side. For Semedo. Now Kante. Side of Nottingham Forest half still. Kante looks for support out to his right, finds Asensio. To his left foot. And Yuxin. Back to Guendouzi. Now Asensio, inside of the centre circle in the opposition half. To the right hand side, and it's just behind Nelson Semedo from N'Golo Kante, and it will be a throw in now to Nottingham Forest, who you can see the celebrations beginning in the supporters. Will now feel a little more comfortable with 4.5 minutes left to go of regular time. They may well into the hat for the next round tomorrow morning. Now Sangare across to Gibbs White into the centre circle. Gibbs White out to the right hand side. Now Omari Hutchinson to the edge of the area. Push the ball back. Cross comes back in towards the middle, headed away by Guendouzi. Pushing the back there from Williams. Nothing given by the referee. Williams out to the left hand side and back inside to Anderson. On the edge of the area. To Hudson-Odoi, back to Williams. Now to Morata. Plays this ball off for Hudson-Odoi, plays it all the way back for Sangare, who loses out, and a chance here on the counter-attack with Akichi. He's up against Aina at the moment, has to go wide right, he's not got much support, and Aina wins it back, and Sangare comes away with the ball. Excellent work defensively by the substitutes. Aina through the middle for Anderson. Anderson now surrounded by two players, manages to beat both of those, but then Guendouzi gets there to win it back, and it's now with Asensio on the right hand side. A chance here, played it back across the middle. Balls to Merkin at the back post, sends it goalwards, drifts wide. Goal kick for Nottingham Forest. Another chance goes begging from Fenerbahce. Landed up on his left foot as Igor Jesus was closing him down. Taken a kick on its way through by Actacoglu. Diverted it off target. Goal kick anyway for Forest with no rush. Setting to do so. Great shot by Cunha to Jetty. To his left hand side now for Morata. Towards the halfway line. Kante tries to get there. Guendouzi then throws the challenge in. It's now with Kante to Asensio on the edge of the area, lines up a left-footed effort, it's spilt by the keeper and away by Aina just before Actacoglu managed to get there. Still with Semedo on the right-hand side. Inside to Asensio. There's Guendouzi to his left, further over to his left he's got Mulder. He's forced to keep possession in the midfield area. Everybody behind the ball at the moment for Nottingham Forest. Now it goes through the middle for Akichi. Akichi can't get his shot away. And away comes Elliot Anderson out to his right hand side. And Omari Hutchinson drives forward. Only the keeper to beat. Omari Hutchinson saved very well by Chetin, who's turned it behind for a corner. He wanted offside. Flag stayed down. And it was right to do so because Omari Hutchinson was inside of his own half when the ball was played. I suppose you couldn't really tell as a goalkeeper from that area. But Omari Hutchinson only had the keeper to beat, and it's a fingertip save to turn the ball behind. It's going to be a corner to Forest on the right hand side. Last minute of regular time plus any added time now by the referee for Forest to see things through. Plays this to Anderson on the edge of the area, back to Hutchinson. Now to Anderson and then to Hutchinson again by the right hand side. Anderson still behind him. Hutchinson onto his left foot, can't get the cross away. Plays it across the middle for Sangare. Out to the left hand side. Now for Williams, now for Hudson-Odoi. Chipped in towards the middle, headed away from Igor Jesus, and it will be a goal kick to Fenerbahce. It was Morata that went up for the header. A little chip ball by Hudson-Odoi. It was going on to the head of Igor Jesus. Guendouzi plays this out to the left hand side for Merkin, who runs through the middle and gets away from his marker. Then plays it out to his left hand side for Akichi. Into his own half then for Mulder. Back to Guendouzi. Here's to his right hand side. Tipped over for Semedo. Semedo brings this down. Williams then closes him down. Inside to Kante. Back it goes. Semedo just gets himself in the way. Can't keep the ball in play though. And it goes out to play for a throw to Fenerbahce. We are in 4 minutes of added time at the end of this game. We're now into those 4 minutes. Semedo with the throw, equal with the edge of the area. Down the line it goes for Asensio. Towards the corner flag. Ball catches the corner flag, and out of play it goes for a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. Tried to keep it in play, but it was off balance while doing so. And had no assistance from the corner flag. Nottingham Forest supporters try to avoid the traffic by leaving early, but they're not leaving without a round of applause for their side. I've been up against it today. Very tough Fenerbahce side. And it's set to go through to the next round of the Europa League. Played down by Jesus. Played by Kante. Played off by Akichi. The way through it goes, and Cunha gets the ball away. We're throwing now down the left hand side for Fenerbahce. More urgency from them. Nottingham Forest just happy to get the ball away. And the line to Merkin. Now for Guendouzi. Out to his right hand side for Semedo, in plenty of space out here. Options in the middle if he can get a cross in. Needs to be doing something with the ball. Instead plays it back to Asensio. Switches this over to the left hand side. And into the middle from Merkin. Cleared away by Morata. Kante plays it back to Guendouzi. Now to Mulder. Now to Merkin. Merkin down the left hand side. Finds some space here for Yuksek. And he's slipped. The ball is turned away by Aina. Taken by Merkin. Back to Yuksek again. Aina wins it back this time fairly, says the referee. Down the right hand side for Igor Jesus to chase. Guendouzi comes away with the ball. Back into Nottingham Forest half. Guendouzi comes away with it, and Morgan Gibbs White wins it back. Now for Sangare, out to the left hand side for Hudson-Odoi, who's pulled down by Semedo. There'll be a free kick to Nottingham Forest just inside of their own half. As Hudson-Odoi happy to waste a bit more of the time there. No yellow card given just yet by the referee. Fully expected one. Whilst Nottingham Forest were on the counter-attack, just pull a player down, but I think with a minute and a half left, Fenerbahce have started to resign themselves to the fact that European success this season is out the window. And the attention will all turn to the Super League, where they are 2 points behind Galatasaray at the top of the table. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, in a relegation fight in the Premier League as it stands. We sat down in 17th place, just 2 points ahead of West Ham. It's now with Aina. To Cunha. To the middle it goes to Morata and back to Ortega. Distributes this out left, and it's out to play for a throw-in. Maybe a throw-in for Semedo. Just wait for the other ball to leave the field. It has done. And it's taken the throw-in and thrown it back to Demir. Across to Guendouzi. Last 30 seconds of added time here. Guendouzi out to his left-hand side for Merkin. Merkin further down the line to be chased by Akichi. It's left to run by Cunha, and it's gone out to play for a goal kick. To a round of applause from the supporters and from the manager on the side, Vitor Pereira, who's going for back-to-back wins in Europa League to start his